I want to say that I'm one of those people in my generation. When you talk to people of my generation, they say how great their schooling was and how terrible the schooling system these days is. And I actually don't agree. I will demonstrate to you why I don't agree. I think we went through a terrible system, some of us, a terrible system. And I think it's our responsibility to reverse some of those things and make sure that students have a good experience in their schools. Now I know that I'm not talking to everybody here, because some of you went to these things called group of schools. In which case your experience might have been better. But those of us who went to real schools, we know it was not as rosy as we sometimes make it. Let me demonstrate to you. In that picture on the screen, you can see about 50 kids sat, and there's one teacher. I think you can identify him just by where he is. I've got a feeling that not many of you can identify me. I am somewhere there in that picture. We are 50 of us. But the sad part of it is, as I stand here, out of those 50 people, I am the only one who made it to the university to do a degree. Now, I could just stand here and tell you I was very bright. Out of these 50, I'm the only one who emerged to do a PhD, and therefore I must be one of the top profile scholars. But really, a school system that has that kind of a wastage, how good is it? How good is it that 50 kids, this picture was taken in 1978, so there has been good time to rectify some of these things if it was possible to do that. But the teacher that you see here was a very good teacher. He was particularly nice to me. We are still good friends even now. He attended my wedding, and I have visited him in his village in recent times. His son has come to visit, so we are still good, very good friends, because he established a relationship between me and himself. This is what he used to do. In those days where I went to school, it would rain in the morning. There was no public transport. We walked to school. If you look at those kids, none of us have shoes. Actually, if you wore shoes, we thought you were being proud. So even if you had shoes, you left them at home, and you came to school without shoes. So it would rain sometimes along the when we were going to school. And if it rained, we were rained on. This teacher would light a fire in his house so that we would study as we were warming ourselves in his house. So it would be at the center, and we would be warming ourselves as we study. He was concerned about the fact that we were wet and we had walked to school in the cold. And I think as a result, we developed this friendship. So even in high school, I was writing to him to give me tips on what to do and that kind of a thing, and we continued. But there were other teachers that were not like him. So the picture that you see below, the cold and hot desert, just to help me tell you this story. I told you I'm going to tell you stories. So this teacher comes to class and says, you have two options: a hot desert and a cold desert. Which one do you choose? And he goes to class, and everybody says cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. Then he comes to me. And I looked at him and I tell him, none. And he says, what? Let me explain to you. A hot desert is like this. A cold desert is like this. Now, which one do you choose? And I said, none. There are other options. And he gets angry, hits me at the back of the head, and I fall down on the desks. I think he failed to appreciate that there could have been a difference between me and other students. Maybe he would have taken time to do something else. I don't think that my answer deserved what I got at the back of my head. And I'm sure that you'll have maybe in your classes some students who behave unconventionally. And the question that I think you have to ask yourself is, how do I deal with this student who is behaving a bit unconventionally?